Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining from. I am Michelle O'Connor, and welcome to our Business Growth Challenge Day 14. Today, we are continuing to build on your action plan by allowing you to see how important it is for you to assign responsible persons to various initiatives along with timelines. If you're new here, I'm a business growth strategist and I help CEO women over 40 to develop business plans that help them to grow profitable businesses while still remaining focused, having a lot of structure, and reducing burnout and overwhelm as much as possible. Now, if you're joining from the US, I know today is Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving. And I really do hope that you find some time to be grateful. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Before we jump into or focus for the day, I want to remind you yesterday I would have shared that I have an ebook that we are offering for free since yesterday. I think it closes today at 12 based on the time that we had set. As I shared yesterday, we offered it at a workshop on Monday and we forgot to change the timeline. And as such, it was still open. And I thought, you know what, let's just leave it open for another 24 hours. As such, you're able to download, and I'm going to resend the link so you have until 12 p.m. That's EST time to download. After that, it goes back to $47. So we have been talking this week about building your action plan. So you've set your financial goals. You have also identified the various initiatives, or discussed executable steps that you need to take to achieve these initiatives. And today we're talking about, we also said KPIs. We said KPIs yesterday. I hope you did your homework. And today we're talking about the importance of assigning responsible persons and timelines. So if you're joining, please, today is day 14. We're almost halfway. So if you're joining, go ahead and drop 14 in the comments. Let me see that you're here, and also say where you're joining from. I know we have some regular persons who come on and they also watch the replay and send feedback. We greatly appreciate that. And remember to subscribe to our channel, and sign up so that you can get reminders when we go live. Now, we're talking today about assigning responsible owners. One of the things that I have found with CEOs and founders when we set our plans is that we assume that everyone in our organization knows their responsibility. We assume that they know what they need to be doing and when it is due. It's very, very important for you as a CEO and founder that you set those clear ownership names or roles first. I really recommend a role, and then you also set timelines. Here are the two things that it does for you as a CEO and founder. It gives you a very clear overview as to who is doing what in your company, and also the timeline. So if you were supposed to look at all the activities that you have going on and you were supposed to select everything that's happening in January, you can see, okay, you know what? My sales team has a lot to do. My marketing team has a lot. I have a lot. Or this particular role has a little bit more capacity. They can take on something else. But when you just leave it vague, okay, I might do that, or we'll give it to somebody to do, you don't have a clear overview as to what's happening in your company. And then also your team, they don't know that they were the ones who need to do it. And I've been in that seat already, where we vaguely set ownership parameters. You don't specifically say, Michelle, you are the person who is responsible. And then when it's time for deliverable, I thought you were the one doing it. We don't want to be doing that. You want to be very, very clear as to who is owning what and what the timelines are. That gives you an idea as to what your own capacity is. What can we take on? And in this world where, as a CEO and founder, you are focused on so many different, you're looking at marketing, your sales, your IT, your operations. What might tend to happen is, without having this document that shows you what are all the things I am going to be doing today, what are all the things I'm going to be doing in January, February, March, you won't be able to say yes or no to other things. And remember, when we started, one of the things that we spoke about is how do we blend harmonize our personal goals and our personal vision with that for the business. When you are saying yes to a lot of things in your business, it means when your life is calling and you're also saying yes, that is where the friction happens, and that is where overwhelm sometimes comes in. So I wholeheartedly encourage you to complete this activity. Go through your goals. I'm going to show you in just a few just what it is that it looks like for you. And remember, we're building every day, so when we come to the end, I'll be able to show you, once you have done this part, what it looks like. So it's a building block. It's like we're building a house, and I know for some you may have agreed on, this is what I'm focusing on for the year, and you get going. But cascading, as we said, because it's like a waterfall, you start at the top and it branches off as you go down. So let me show you in just so you have a pictorial view as to what it will look like when you go ahead and assign your responsibilities. And remember, go ahead and let me know if you have any questions as we go through. This is your activity. I am here as your guide, just sharing with you how this looks like. So today we're talking about, as I share, dependencies and timelines, and why it is important. Now, once you have, and we're building on the same initiatives that we've been using since Monday. I'm showing you how it builds and what it looks like. Now, we would have agreed on the overall goal that we're focusing on. So the goal is to increase sales of our existing products, and we set targets for that. So we're not going back into that. If you missed it, guys, we welcome you to go and watch the replays. They're up for you to see. All right, so we agreed on the steps needed to achieve this goal. We also aligned on our KPIs, and today we're talking about owners. So when you go through, let's take this as an example. You are reviewing your current sales performance and you've identified what your KPI is. You're saying, for this, the CEO and the sales lead are the person who are in charge, and this needs to be completed by January 15th. So you want to review what needs to be completed. Is that you're going to be reviewing the current sales performance and you're going to be providing that report. So the sales lead is completing it and handing it over to the CEO. When you have it documented like this, maybe somebody might say to you, but I'm still not sure. Am I doing it, or is the CEO doing it? That is what this does. It's a document for communication and conversation and clarity. So let's move to the next one. We're analyzing customer feedback. All right, the number of feedback responses and what the customer satisfaction score is. January 29th. This is, maybe you have a role called customer success officer. No, this lends for a conversation, because the person can now say, when they see the timeline, like, whoa, when are we administering the survey? Or was the survey already administered? Are we giving persons a month to complete it? You are able to get clarity and refine. These are not things that are cast in stone. And that is why when I shared earlier, when we started, I would have said, document your target. Then you are going to be talking about the what and the who. And this is where a lot of the conversation happens. And then you can refine as you go along before you have a complete execution plan. You're updating branding and packaging. Your marketing team, or we need to have it done by February 14th, between February 14th and February 28th. Now, your marketing team, I will see if we have time to do this, but I want you to think about it this way. Let's take this as an example. Your marketing team now will take this activity, because your marketing team is responsible. If you have more than one person in marketing, or you have contracted an agency, they will now break this down into further activities that they need to take on in order to meet this timeline. I hope it's making sense. You can drop a yes in the chat and let me see if you're understanding. That is what it does. So if I should go back, let me see, we would have done this. So this is what, when I spoke about cascading, we're starting from here. This is where the waterfall starts. It starts at the top with the main goal. And each time we drill down, so maybe we're here, the marketing team is here. They are now going to be drilling down further for the rest of their team, so everybody knows what their input is into the entire plan. Let me just stop sharing for a second. Let me see if you have any questions. Is it making sense? Do you understand what we are trying to achieve? Because what I want to do is ensure that you understand it. Any questions? All right, we're good so far. All right, let's continue. So your marketing team will take that and they are now going to cascade. They're going to drill down further to see what their input is so they can meet this timeline. They might need to take it and go and have a conversation with their team as well. And then they come back to you as a CEO to say, yes, this can work, or no, it can't work. I don't understand. How are we going to meet this target with all these other deliverables? This is what gives you clarity. This is what sets you now up for success. And as you go along, you're still refining, but at least you're refining from a point, right? Refreshing product photos and videos. We have this done. Your marketing team, again, they're doing this March 3rd to 14th. You want that to be completed. And you can see how you will be having a conversation with your marketing team about the building blocks. So first, you're updating your packaging and your branding. You're seeing how persons are engaging with it on your various platforms. And now you can now give a report to say, what are the number of impressions that we have received? How is it performing? And marketing can say, okay, I can see that timeline. We have about 3 weeks, and then we'll continue to refine. Publish customer testimonials. You're doing that on a weekly basis. You're starting the 17th of March. And again, marketing can now have a conversation about it's flowing. I see it makes sense. Yeah, we can have a week. Maybe we need a few more days to reach out to the customers. But you now see what marketing, a lot of the work that your marketing says, and you as a CEO, what you're going to be looking at. Now, let me just go back to this for a second. This is when the CEO gets this information at a glance. Sometimes as a CEO, you're making decisions. And your team isn't present. But when you have this document, what it will do for you is you are able, without speaking to them, to be able to look at what the commitments were for a particular period. And because you're looking at those commitments, you can say yay or nay without them being present. Am I making sense? Let me know if you're understanding. Because you don't want to commit to things and then you come to your team and you're like, okay, guys, we have this thing to do. And you're like, but you just gave me these things to do, or you already know that I'm doing, this is causing confusion. And you don't want that. We don't want that. We want our teams to be aligned. And it's not to say that having it documented this way prevents that from happening. It's just that it gives you a document that you're working from. All right, let me look. I know that my team has all of these things to do. We probably can't take this on until XM, or if we do, I can have a conversation with them to say what we are moving and what we are shifting to another time because we're taking on something else. All right, so let us continue. I just want you to see what it looks like, what this will look like for you as a business. All right, so we would have spent some time on the product. Let's go and look at the service. For this one, and they're basically the same. It's just showing you we're refining our target audience. The CEO is responsible for this. We're updating the description of our services. Marketing team is responsible for this. We're creating weekly educational content. Again, the CEO and the marketing. We're strengthening our lead generating system, sales and marketing. And it's the same concept as I shared earlier. You now can look at this and see, and your team takes it and they further drill down. And these were just a few examples. A healthcare provider, you want to increase patient booking. You're reviewing your patient trends. Your admin is taking care of that. You're auditing your patient experience. Your operations manager is taking care of that. And the timelines are there, and so on and so forth. I hope this is making sense for you. And one of the things I also want to share with you is when you provide this level of clarity in your business, what it will do is it's a communication tool regardless of who is in the role. So you would have noticed that on the document, I have the role and not the name of the person. You can define, you can decide who does what at any point in time in your business. This document now will remain regardless of who is coming in the role. If that's your role, you're taking it on. Also, you might decide that right now, based on the size of my business, I don't have my salesperson is my marketing person. Still separate the roles because you're planning ahead. The person who is coming in now will know that they're carrying both roles. But when you look at the future of your business, you know that in the future, we would really love to have two. Now, based on our size, we only need one. But that is how you would plan and go ahead and document ownership and timelines. If nobody owns it, it doesn't get done. It's just up in the air and we're not sure. I thought it was you if there are no timelines, or I thought I was doing it at that time. This gives you the basic structure to have conversation about your deliverables, to be able to say what I'm doing when, to be able to answer who is doing what and when. So this is your homework for today. Go ahead, look back at the initiatives that we agreed on in the week. You don't need to touch the KPIs. You're not doing anything with those as yet. All you're doing for now is assigning your owners and assigning timelines. And these are not cast in stone, meaning it's not, it can change. It's flexible. We say it's fluid. It's flexible. You can change it. This is just a starting point, because your team, when you have the conversation with your team, you are showing them all the agreements or the thought process that you have. They give you feedback and you guys align and decide on how you work on it going forward. I hope this helps you. Go ahead and complete this activity and come back tomorrow, and we will continue right here at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to download the book. We have about 2 more hours, and I think that's the time that we have set on it, where it will go back to its $47. And as usual, if you are looking to create some structure in your business for 2026, you know that there is more that you can achieve. And maybe you don't know that it's structure that you need. Sometimes we don't know what we need. We know that there's something that's off and you can't put your finger on it. Go ahead and book your call and let's talk, because we might be able to help you to see blind spots. You can't see it. So somebody from the outside is looking in and can be able to show you what you need to do differently. So I'm looking forward to having a conversation with you. And I'm also looking forward to having you tomorrow. Go ahead and also share with other business owners that you know that we are live. Tomorrow we're at day 15, and then we have another 15 days to go, because my aim is to have you complete your execution plan before the holidays so you can go off knowing what you're doing in 2026. Thanks again for coming on. Have a great day. Bye.